All right. Starting up at the corner with Heathen Dog there.
Okay.
How do you approach the topic of character retirement and death in your campaigns, generally speaking?
Okay, generally speaking, it hasn't happened a lot because, a lot of my campaigns don't end when the character wants them to end. It's very rare that happens. Like when they retire. It's very rare. The story usually ends first, right? But it has happened, and when it does happen, transitioning to an NPC is usually the go-to move.
Great, you just took away my follow-up question. Good job.
Sorry. Like if you have a D&D like 18, 19, 20th level character and you're like, okay, I want to retire. My character wants to retire. He has his little fiefdom. He has, Conan finally got his kingdom, right? And now he wants to be king. Well, you got to retire. That's what Conan did. That's what you do. You retire, right? You're done. So your NPC, your character becomes an NPC to be used in other campaigns, especially ones that you are in. And if you want to be related, you want to be a son, cousin, nephew, brother, second cousin's first roommate, whatever, you can talk to me later. But Conan, your character, will exist in this world, but at a higher level. If you start again at first level, you are not going to interact with your old character right away. That's never going to happen. Don't be stupid. He doesn't care about you yet. You do not appear on his radar. Do not think, oh, Uncle Conan's going to hook me up. No, Uncle Conan says, sink or swim, bitch. That's what Uncle Conan says, right? So that's if the character wants to stop, if the player thinks that the character has run his course, he's done, he's completed all of his goals in life, he's got a good place he can stop, then that's what happens. Now, if he wants to go out in a blaze of glory, you know what? I'll make an adventure where he can go out in a blaze of glory. That's fine. He's earned this end. He's earned a good end. You've played this character for 6 months, year, 2 years, whatever, and you want to go out, young gun style. Great. Okay, I can make that happen for you, and then you can be a legend told for years to come. Okay, that's cool too. But those are the two ways I do it. But usually for me, the story ends before the characters do.
Have you ever done generational play?
No, I have not.
All right, Mr. Max.
Yes,
how do you approach the topic of character retirement and death in your campaigns?
Death should always be on the table, first of all, right? Just like you can die, like, you put your life on the line, it's possible you're going to die. And if you die, that's it. Like, I'm not going to save you, right? That's a big important one for me. I don't have too much to say about that. I don't like the resurrection thing either, right? Oftentimes, like, I prefer when games don't have that, don't include that. And the retirement, that's something that a character should consider often, right? A character, like, when you've done an adventure, you come back to a safe place. It's always like, do I want to keep going on that? Like, and I'm totally fine if you decide when you roleplay your character, you say, like, you know what? I'm done with that shit. I've seen enough, right? And that's fine, right? We're talking about this epic level. Like, a lot of characters won't reach that because, now I have enough money to live the rest of my day, get my little keep, get my little manor, whatever. I'm good. I'm done here.
I saw that many, many years ago. I have not heard of that since the 90s. I don't think I've talked to a single player who has that as an option for the character since the 90s. Everyone's like, no, really? Gotta get more. Gotta do more things. Gotta get better. Gotta. It's never like, I've made enough here. I've got enough to have my own little kingdom, or small duchy, or town, or chalet out on the beach. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
but you know what I'm saying?
Well, because like if you like the challenge also that they face should get bigger, and at some point, like the character, or maybe sometimes just like if you want to say like the character, like my character is. Maybe it's just we're not gonna go on with the challenge. It's gonna stay at that level. That's also a way that you can retire, right? I'm gonna stay doing like cleaning the monster of the week coming in the town. Okay, so your character is staying in that town. and we're moving on with the campaign somewhere else, or whatever, right? And you can do another character and stuff like that. I think it's important to have like you want to stay in character, like always want to have more. Like that's not a normal, especially when you put your life on the line. That's not a normal way of thinking. You have to think as if you're your character, right?
I finally have enough. I don't have to do this crap anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me. I want to explore this a little more because I'm gonna kind of flip this a little bit on you. You're in a world like Rifts, where every day something new and weird and exciting is coming out of the woodwork, and it's just never gonna end. Now, it doesn't have to be always in your backyard, of course, but is there retirement in a game like that?
Maybe at some point, yes. At some point, if you like, there's no real normal life. But at some point, if you, especially in a world like that, if you find a way to create for yourself some kind of normal life, then you don't want to leave that, right? You say, you know what, and retirement is not final. Death is final. Retirement is not. Sometimes you can I'm totally fine with you retiring a character, and then maybe further down the line, you say, you know what, maybe this character is being brought out of retirement because of some shit happening, right? That can be cool as well. You return to an old character. I like that. But in a world like Rift, that could be that, right? The party can decide, you know what? We're done here. We managed to make a little keep. Things goes well. We're mostly safe. When enemies come, we manage to repel them. We have a good thing going on. We're just going to spend some years here, right? And at some point, that may be the end of the campaign. Maybe later on, say, you know what? Those guys they've been living there for a year, but now one thing just happened near them, right? And then you can play them back, right? Brought them back from the folder. Why not?
Okay.
Is that a satisfying answer?
Yeah. Bear, how do you approach the topic of character retirement and death in your campaigns?
There are old heroes and there are bold heroes, but there are no old, bold heroes. Understand?
Okay, so there is no heroes don't retire.
Heroes don't retire. They
die.
End. Or they become the villain or something. They just don't go, well, all the thing that's been driving me my entire life to do good and make sure, well, my back hurts today. Fuck that. I'm gonna go putt around the garden there. There's other heroes. Someone will handle the demon lord. No, they're gonna I gotta go fight the demon lord. Fuck, But they're old now.
They're old now, and
unless they're not old.
To be fair, there are a lot of games out there that you can age out of being an adventurer just from stat loss, right? I mean, you can no longer hit your prerequisites to use your special abilities anymore because you're that old. That can happen. So retiring at that point and becoming a teacher or a master or something is the only option because you can't even die in battle right anymore.
It's I'm too old for that shit. Literally.
Yeah, you've Murtaugh'd yourself.
There you go. I just think that I've never had a campaign ever be retired. I've had people die.
Yep.
I've had people transcend. I've had people do lots of different things, but I've never had them fucking just go, well, I'm good. I'm going to be candlelight wine for the rest of my life. Yeah.
It happens more if you do a lot of a time skip and stuff like that, or if you progress the time much more, right? Because your character is going to get old and say, all right, I'm done. All right.
No. I did do generational one time, but it was part of an adventure where basically all the players showed up for one session. They were trying to do this one thing. And they showed up for one session, and that game was my newbie game. So I used to put name placards with their character art on it and stuff, and I'd set their seating up with their character sheets and all that. So they'd just show up, take their seat, and play. It was really fun. It was a really great game. And then one day they walked in, and they all had different character placards at their seat and different character sheets. And it was their characters' children in the future trying to help their parents in the past. But I didn't have like Heathen Dog's character be his son. No. I had Max's character be Heathen Dog's son and stuff like that. And it worked really well. We played 2 sessions to get it done, and when it was done, boy, they were like, "Holy shit, that was different." It's like, well,
I would never let my kid act like that. Well, guess what? He's not around Daddy anymore, and this is how he's acting.
I should try that at some point in a Pendragon game. Instead of you playing your son, your heir, you're playing somebody there. That could be interesting. Yeah. What nerds say, if you time skip until your character is old, they will be old, right?
If you time skip till your character is old, you'll be old.
Yeah, but the thing
Jeez,
also
nerd,
is
that's
like,
some wisdom there, nerds.
Wow.
Nerd. Thank you so much.
you,
Wow.
like I problem I find often time with like traditional D&D games. Like if people like have good timekeeping, you look like, oh, they went from level 1 to 10 or 1 to 20, and then you think about it, like 2 months in game time
Right,
went by,
yeah.
right? Just like
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in training times. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or
Max
travel
is
time.
really good with the whole training time thing, especially in games like D&D and Earthdawn, because it's supposed to take years to build yourself up between level and level and level. So if
I'm a
you're
big believer
being
like in
extraordinary,
slow healing.
yeah, there are no 22 level grandmasters. I mean, sorry, 22-year-old grandmasters. There aren't any of those in his games. No, if you're a grandmaster, you're the Palladium ancient master, 105-year-old bastard who just won't die because he's full of piss, vinegar, and chi. That's pretty much what it is.
Well, now I got a name for my new indie college band. Thank you.
Piss, vinegar, and chi.
Well, I was actually going to add piss to the start of it because it's a college band, so it'll be piss, vinegar, and chi.
There we go.
So, what I would like is one of the things that I want to point out to folks is that characters don't always have to die old. In fact, most don't.
Yeah,
Like
That's
a thing. I mean, what?
I'll quit. I'll quit your game. No.
you won't.
So, I would like each one of you, and we'll start with Mr. Max, to share a story. It doesn't have to be your character, but it has to be a game that you were in or you ran, or your character. Obviously, you'd be in that one. A memorable story of a character's retirement or heroic death, and how, if it did, hopefully, how it affected the group and or the setting.
Man, you taking me in like a character. Can you say that again? Sorry.
Basically, a heroic death, but there has to be meaning behind it. Like it's just like, well, this character died because of 3 natural 20s. Haha. No. We're trying to share a memorable story of a character's retirement or heroic death, and basically what the outcome of that was, or how it affected the game, the setting.
The other players.
We don't do heroic death. We just do like we just do like where you die because you fucking pick a fight with like somebody that is too strong for you and he fucking crushed you. No,
You
like
don't have,
we
you don't have any heroic deaths in your games.
we don't play heroic character.
No one's a hero.
You're
So you
literally
said-
playing Pendragon. Everybody's kind of well, they're assholes, but they're
you're just a regular guy.
I think
No,
you're
but like,
misunderstanding the point of hero. Hero doesn't have to be high powered. It can just be somebody with, I did the right thing. I sacrificed myself for others. That's heroic.
Yeah, in the
God damn it.
what like the last one we had was I guess like Rick's character kind of have a heroic death. Like we were fighting this ancient entity, was playing the mage, and he got like kind of like he was fighting to get possessed, and he kind of sacrificed himself, I think, because he was feeling like the influence of the bad guy, the big evil guy taking over, right? That's but we do a lot of games that are like very mundane. So we play like gangster and stuff like that. You just get shot in the back of the head because you're being a jerk, right? We don't do like we do a lot of the mundane stuff. That's what I like.
That's fair. That's fair. Yep. I mean, he has more grounded in reality morals type.
So
games.
nobody died escorting a little girl across the road or something heroically? I don't know.
More like in Game of Thrones, right? Robert Baratheon died hunting because he get gored by a boar, right?
Okay, that's not heroic. But you know what?
That's the kind of stuff we go through.
That had his head cut off.
Ned Stark.
Yeah, that's right. Now he died arguably heroically, standing up for his beliefs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, you know what? Screw you. I'm gonna go to somebody that understands heroism.
I got it.
No, it's Bear's turn. It's Bear's turn. You get to go last.
You know what I'm gonna say.
It's okay. Listen, it doesn't matter. Whatever I say, Heathen Dog's gonna jump in. So just go to Heathen Dog and then let me go last.
Fine. Okay. Heathen Dog, tell about the Pegasus. Sorry. What?
Okay. No. In Max's Earthdawn game, my first or second character, I forget which
cavalryman.
First cavalryman, and we were fighting this. What was it? A wyvern?
I think it's a wyvern or Pegasus, something like that. Something that
it was. I believe it. I believe it was a wyvern. We
should not have been fighting to you.
How much I love the fact that you guys
Shut up.
just said wyvern and not wyvern. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, stop interrupting. Anyway,
Shut up.
all right. So we should not have been fighting this thing, but we were caught in this cave. We weren't going to get out. In my estimation, we were not going to get out.
At that point,
yeah, we were not going to get out. So I decided, you know what? Balls to the wall. Fuck it. I'm gonna try. And so I jumped on my horse, standing on my saddle, full speed, rode toward this thing, jumped on top of it, and tried to steer it into the wall. Right? I'm trying to steer it, like pull it so it banks and hits something hard, gives everyone else a chance. Maybe I can jump off. Well, no, I'm not that good. And it was going to flatten me against the wall, putting me in between it and the wall. I know I'm going to die. There's nothing I can do about this. I cannot alter this thing's course. So what do? I take out my sword, put the hilt to my chest and the blade to his back. And when he squishes me against the wall, he impales himself on my sword. I die horribly because the hilt goes into my chest and I'm done.
Well, you died from the fall, but yeah, after that, but yeah.
I was just done. And this thing fell down and it was mortally wounded. It was basically dead. It was still alive, but it couldn't do anything. And the rest of the team just came and just killed it.
It landed on top of you.
Yeah, it landed on top of me. I was turned into chunky salsa, but that wasn't, I died. I knew I was going to die. Maybe I could have jumped off. Maybe I could have survived the fall. Maybe. But I would just die along with all of my friends.
Yeah, there was really no chance that they could win because it was going to keep flying and they didn't have an archer in the party at that point. So it was just going to keep plinking.
No way. So I knew that even if I tried to save myself, it would be for minutes, only minutes. And then everyone would die. But if I do this, maybe I die, but everyone else gets to live. I go to hell, but everyone else gets to go home. And that's exactly what happened.
I gave you some benefit for that. I forget what it is when you made your next character. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I gave you something heroic because of that.
You did. But yeah, that was my most heroic death.
And it worked. The thing was it was unsure, but it worked.
Yeah. It was the only chance. It was a slim chance, but it was the only chance that anyone was going to come out of that.
There you go, Heathen.
Thank you, Grizzly. Appreciate it. That hurt Max a lot. That hurt him.
Rolling Bones says he's going to come on the show sometime just to say how gay. What does he say? He's going to say that the only thing more gay than Palladium is Earth Dawn. Like he just wants to come on to say that. I see those chats. Anyway, go ahead, Bear. Again, you don't. It doesn't have to be your character. You ran a ton of games. I'm sure somebody's died heroically in one of your games.
Somebody had to have died to sacrifice themselves for a greater cause. Somebody.
So they were playing Cyberpunk. They were a group of solos who had all been Central American vets, and they had started a detective agency. And they got on the wrong side of Arasaka, and then Arasaka went and hired military guys to take them out. A lot of guys from Central America who had been, guys they had fought and warred against. And in the climax, they were basically raiding the HQ of the mercenaries. And one of the players, my buddy Av, just started the fight. He just goes around everybody. He's like, "Give me any explosives you have and any spare ammo." And they're like, "Well, what? Just give it to me." And they're like, "Okay." So they're giving him grenades, they're giving him ammo clips, and it's all caseless ammo and stuff like that. It's like, okay. And he just loads up his packs and his bags. What the fuck is this guy doing? They try and get into the main doors. Obviously they get pinned down in a firefight. They're just, they're just shooting back at guys, shooting at them. There's no way in. And out of nowhere, Ab just yells, "Cover me." And he hadn't spent a luck point the entire game. He was like squatting on his luck, and then suddenly his character just starts fucking making a mad dash zigzag run for the front door, makes it to the door before he gets hit by the legs, drops to his knees, starts laughing. I said, "What do you do?" And he does the ting on the grenades, but he's covered in high explosives and caseless ammo mags that have explosive propellant in them. I pull out 20, 30 D10, just kind of as he kills all the guys at the door, blows the doors off the hinges. His character's fucking vapor. He's red mist, if anything.
Mist at this point.
But he opens the door to let them the chance to get in and get the bad guys.
That is the epitome of a cyberpunk death.
Yep.
He died with style. That's exactly how you do it in cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah.
Kudos.
And
Hell
to
yeah.
his credit, he sat there as a player and just cheered them on for the rest of the night as they continued the raid on
As
the
a
base.
ghost.
He didn't go home or anything. He was just like, yeah, you guys go. Don't forget you got this. And he was really helping them out. It was really cool.
That's a good segue to the next actual question, Bear, because I want to follow up with that. What's up?
Can I tell you one? I got one fine.
Finally. You know what? You had your time. No, go ahead.
Well, you got me short. No, you start with me, right? It's unfair, right? But
French Canadian, they always want exceptions.
Go ahead.
It's a cultural thing. In the witch game, in the witch hunting game that I mentioned earlier, right? Phil's character is playing this priest that is the one trying to bring this woman to a witch trial. And he's fabricating evidence throughout the game, and at some point he got caught by the RPC. So there's a big tension there, and they finally get to the girl, and there's conflict there. The situation between characters really, and the situation get resolved. Crispy's character got shot, and by one of the NPC that were working with Phil, and is incapacitated. But now everybody climbing down the mountain. Phil's character with them, the priest. And the two other guys are holding Crispy's character down the mountain, and at some point they come to a little pass that is a bit narrow, and Phil decides, you know what? I fucking run the guy in the back that's holding the shoulder of Crispy's character, right? And I tried to push him down the mountain, and if I fall with him, that's it, And then he go. And he failed his role and his opposed role. The other guy succeed. So he managed to he kind of fall down a bit, but catch himself. Rick's character managed to keep Crispy from falling, but Phil fails completely and fall down to his death. That was epic. That was an epic death. Was it heroic? I don't know, because Phil was kind of the bad guy in that, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a heroic death.
And he died trying in the one last ditch. When he got beaten, and he's basically being brought back down the mountain, right, where he's gonna face consequence to his action, in one last swoop to try to kick one of them with them, right?
That's not heroic.
Less epic and more selfish.
That's just selfish.
Yeah,
that's suicidal.
Yeah.
From this point of view,
you and I are going to have a one-on-one at some point in time, and I'll explain the word heroic to you, and you'll have a better understanding.
Hey, you know what? Points for trying.
No, but from his point of view, right? He's sacrificing himself for the cause he believes in, right?
Yeah, no, that was just petty.
No,
point of view. Good, bad.
Nice try. We're not buying it. Yeah. We're not buying it.
It's still epic.
So
Bear, heroic, still epic.
You said something that I find interesting. You said that after the character blew himself up, he didn't leave the table.
No.
I have only in all my years of gaming, when somebody's died, I've only ever seen somebody leave a table at a gaming store. Never in my actual groups have I ever seen somebody leave a table and the character died. Oh, my character's dead. I mean, at worst, might sit in the other room making another character or something, but usually they hang out because they want to see what's going on. Believe me, more people tell me that, oh, no, if my character dies, I head out. Or, yeah, after his character dies, he went home, whatever. I've just that's never happened at one of my tables. It's weird. Have you ever had that happen at one of your tables?
Only in high school. In high school it happened, but it's not because they wanted to leave, is because they were already staying too late and their mom's pissed off. Stuff like that, stuff like that. But once they were responsible for their own time, no one's just left when they died. They want to see what happens. Yeah.
But I will tell you that commonly I hear that we're kind of the exception of that, even though I've seen that so many places. All right. Well,
when we have people die, we play on StreamYard. We put them back in the waiting room.
In the green room.
Yeah, in the green room.
All right, Bear. So this is the real question now is how do you handle the transition for the player? Now understand we're talking to a bunch of different people out there. You're not talking to me. How do you handle the transition for the player after his character retires or dies?
Transition to what? His new gender identity?
No. What? Okay. No. He's
What?
gone.
What do you mean? What do you
Ever.
mean by transition?
Exactly.
No,
New character.
next character.
The
How?
new character.
Well, no, it could be next character. It could be hanging out for dinner that evening. It could be screw you, I hate you, I'm gonna go get a gun. Whatever the next phase is. Okay, you're Canada, a knife.
No,
Hockey stick, maybe an axe.
Hockey stick. There you go. There, and a mask. There you go. No, but how do you handle transition for the player after his character retires or dies?
I don't. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be obtuse, but I don't understand what transition you're referring to.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, you're gonna make a new character? Cool. Here's the books. Let me know what you got. I'll come join you in 5 minutes. Or, oh, you're gonna take off, Ted? All right, man. Well, thanks for playing, and we'll talk about a new character for the next session.
That's basically
that,
it, right?
You know,
I mean,
like I don't see there being a need for a therapy session. Sorry.
It doesn't have to be rocket science. It can be that easy, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not. There's no hug in. There's no sitting around with the talking stick. I have the conch. I must describe my feelings about this situation now. Usually, if someone dies, their character dies, the other players might even say like, "Dude, I love that guy. He was so awesome that time." And they might have like a 10-minute, bullshitting session about how
bring
awesome
his body back and bury him or cremate
whatever.
him, or
Like that kind of shit
whatever,
happens. Or sometimes they fall down a chasm and maybe they'll go get his body at the end of the adventure, or he'll just join all the other
or
dead people at the end of the
a couple
chasm.
years from now, someone else will find it and bring it home. Whatever,
Or find treasure or whatever, But I mean, there's no real transition per se.
Yeah,
for me.
So how do you keep a player motivated, engaged, whatever, after his character is retired or died?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
what if the character dies in the first 15 minutes of the session, and it's like, do you introduce the new character in the same session?
Absolutely. Here's the book. Go make a new character, and I'll find a way to work it in later.
Game session. If he dies in that, then you just give him a new character. Like, here you go.
Yeah.
Make another character and come in. That's fine.
You all haven't seen. Okay, I know this happened in our Earthdawn game, and I also know it happened in our Rifts game. I won't mention the player, where the character died. And he had a hard time transitioning to the next character that he wanted to play. Let me give you a case in point. In that same cave that Heathen Dog did his sacrifice, or very near it, because it's around the same time, the Swordmaster died. And he decided, he had already died. He came in with the Nethermancer. His Nethermancer died. This is how I generically described it, because I don't want to take forever. I described it looked like Jesse Ventura in Predator. His chest was blown out. And he said, okay, I want to experience death on this guy. In Earthdawn, experience death gives you some bonus hit points, and you get to experience the death of the character. Hopefully you got enough hit points to experience that death and not die yourself. His chest was blown out. You can see through it. You could crawl through it if if it wasn't horizontal.
All right. Hang on. Yes, but there is no helping dumb, right? I mean,
we know who we're talking about. Yeah. These guys don't. So he experiences death and dies right off the bat. Just started that character. Well, it's like, okay, basically he asked for a do-over, and I'm like, look, dude, I don't have time for this. Fine, just you're a different character. Be another Nethermancer. He does it again.
Yeah, you can't fix stupid. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, it gets better. Heathen Dog. What happened right after that?
Oh God, I don't even know.
He did it a third time before you guys finally were like, "Get the fuck out of the game if you're going to keep doing this." Now, why am I telling this? He wasn't able to get motivated into playing a different character because he had his heart set on this one. Okay, now I know somebody else will, well, that was a bad game master for letting him just play the same thing. He died within like 15 minutes with the same character. Okay, he just started the damn thing. Fine. But after the third time, I didn't let him.
Well, no, I mean, for someone like him, or a player like that, the only thing you can do is, hey, stop. You having a bad day? Okay, take a break, walk away, rub some dirt on it, get back in the game next week, read up on the Nethermancer, read up on your spells, think about it, and then come back. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. I mean, if the man can't think, then he can't think, and there's nothing you can do about that.
It was hilarious to hear the whole table when he's about to do it again, all
Like,
rise
what?
up. It was like that.
Yeah.
That was that movie thing where everybody, what are you doing? Like all at once, it's like, yeah. But the thing is here is some people, when they play characters, whether for a long time or a short time, because he had just got done playing a character that I got to say was his best character he had in any game he ever had with us. It died, thanks to Heathen Dog.
What? I had to make a choice.
Yeah, that's fair. But it was hard for that player to transition to a new character. So I guess, everybody handles it. Look, I've had characters where I've literally had a rebound character. I played a character for a few months and it died. And I was like, son of a bitch. And I played another character I thought would be fun. It wasn't so fun. It was more of a rebound character than anything else. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay, it's my character. Sure, fine, whatevs. And then that character wasn't fun or exciting at all. And I can't remember if it died or if I just played something else after it, but then I went to a character that I appreciated again. The point is that some people do have transitions between characters, especially if they get into the characters.
So you play characters the way girls date. Understood.
Okay.
I don't understand, but
You don't understand. Bullshit, rebound boy. Anyway, hang on.
I get it. The player had a great attachment or affinity for a character that died.
Sure.
Okay. The worst thing that if that is true, the worst thing you can do is that day start playing a new character.
Yeah.
Don't do that. What Bear's guy did when he died, he stayed in the groom as a cheerleader, helping everybody on. And that probably would help him deal with the loss of the character.
Yeah,
for
me, if you die in the session, you're done for the session. Stay in.
That's because you're mean.
Yeah. Also, we don't do like 8-hour session, right? So that helps.
Then you're not a gamer.
Oh,
you're just a poser.
But we can do much more though because we in one session because we don't fuck around. But
I want to talk more about the guy who got his chest blown out. That sounds really interesting. There was a time when I was in the Baja that happened to me. So look, I'm sorry. Role-playing is not therapy.
Yeah.
It's not. If you can't handle the imaginary character in your head dying in an imaginary game, and I have to suddenly do fucking intervention time for you, no.
Yeah, maybe the hobby's not for you.
No. Well, no. The way to do it is just like a coach. Your pitcher had a bad day, and now he's got the yips. You just send him away for a while, clear your head, then come back.
Your character dies.
Back to the minors. Go play the fucking Adventure League game. Sorry, was that
your
Mr.
your character dies. Now you have like some resolution from this character. It might not be like the most satisfying death, but you got to go to see what this character what this character went through, right? Be happy with that.
But I've never seen someone do this, Max. Like that's the thing. I've never seen someone lose a character.
I've seen it quite a bit.
Heard about it.
Yeah.
Not recently, not in recent years, but in the past, I've seen. Dude, I've played all over the world, literally all over the world. So, I mean, yes, I've seen a lot of players, and it usually happens at game stores, with the static groups that happen there, in my experience, but it's happened elsewhere as well, where people have been playing their characters for a long time. I also saw it happen weirdly with the emotional attachment behind it. When somebody brings a character from another DM's game, it's why I never, it's not the only reason, but why I never allow this. You're not bringing in your character from some other DM's game into mine. Just not going to let that happen. And then all of a sudden, this DM is either hardcore or whatever, sets it up, kills the character. Oh, I can't believe you killed my character. This character's been around for 20 years. It's like, dude, calm down. It's a character.
Fucking paper.
But understand that when we do these segments here, we're talking to many different people, and we also know that the Twitter.
That.
I also said like your character doesn't belong to you.
Something I've never experienced. That's like asking me which flavor of ass.
Yeah. No, but you shoot back at me like I'm somehow fucking retarded about this when I say this when it's there. Like I understand.
Is Asian the best flavor of ass?
Asian is the best flavor of ass. Thank you.
Gross.
Look, I get what you're saying.
I went with female, but
no, he knows. He knows.
Go ahead, Bear.
No, gentlemen, this is the war room. No fighting. I've never experienced it. I've never played with someone so emotionally fragile that when
That's
their
fair.
character died, they were a bitch about it. Kleine Schlumpf, never happened.
I've seen fist fights. So, well, more slapping fights, but over character death. Yep.
Dear God,
I've never done that. I've never seen that.
If you go to my Discord, you can ask Von Zark about it. He was there too.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I mean,
when I say you have to remember, like, the character belongs to the world, doesn't belong to you, right? Just like this character lives in that world, and the world is a
Heathen Dog knows. What? Okay, most of you guys were good, but what was Bob's reaction when I said, "Hey, your character died"? When his first one, Mumasa, Scott died, or Scout died, and I was like, "Give me your character sheet."
He didn't want to give it.
Yeah, and remember, I ripped it up right in front of him.
That was mean.
There was, well, because he was being a dick about it. It's like, no, I told you when you guys started the game. I don't care if you photocopy it, but that character sheet belongs to the world. It does not belong to you. And I tricked him out of it somehow, and I still have it.
Yeah, the ripping was kind of, just a fuck you moment that didn't have to happen.
We had to spend forever for him to give me the damn thing. That's why,
Yeah, but people do get attached, and I have seen people get childish. I've never seen a fist fight start or anything like that, but I've always told people to get out before. If I sense something like that could happen, I'm like, okay, nope, that's not happening. You got to go.
Yeah, the game master and player were not friends, we'll say, but sometimes when you're younger, it's hard to get a group together, and so that.
to behave like fucking adult guys.
We weren't adults.
Well, we were barely adults at that point.
Behave like we're like adults.
Yeah. Just if you're getting that way, you just got to walk it off. Just go.
Yeah.
Get out.
I have no frame of reference for this.
Okay.
Don't have it.
You're either a dirty liar or the luckiest GM ever.
I think Mr. Bodman will agree with me on this. Yep. Canadian gaming appears to be very different than what American gaming is like. We have very different experiences. It's not all dorks and losers back in the 80s. We used to play with girls in the 80s and stuff like that, and it was tended to be mostly mature people playing, and it tended to be something we did as a fun time,
Well, none of us. Look, half my group were girls back in high school, and they were the least mature. We had the drama queen, who straight up was a drama queen. We had the whore. I'm sorry, I can't say that. The flirtatious one, who was just trying to get around. We had and we had the one that ended up going to prison, who thought she was a dude, basically, one of the guys.
Let me rephrase that. Were any of them attractive?
The cheerleader, yeah.
Okay, so one was. I don't know. It's just weird. I think Canadian gaming experience, as a general rule, is very different than the American gaming experience.
Yeah, and it was
I played coast to coast. I played all across Canada.
And it would like also like all those like horror story, like I said, like that's so weird. I never saw that, right? And people would play like they would mostly understand, like like, oh, you're playing a character, you're trying to act in character, like just doing like even like the min-maxing and the munchkin, like those were very rare, and just people like, well, you don't fucking get it, right? Just
Jesus, Minnesota was one of the things, especially once 3rd edition came out, was all min-maxing. Let me phrase that. There's always one person in the group, and 2nd edition games ever since the stupid Drow novels came out, I never had a game until I went to Germany that didn't have one asshole that wanted to play a Drow. Like all like Japan, Kuwait, like it didn't matter. There's always one asshole. So
I don't know. Maybe it's the cold.
But this is, I think, one of the reasons why Heathen
Canada. So everyone's tempers are a little lower. I get it.
Exactly. But I honestly think it's one of the reasons why Heathen Dog and I have some of these hangups about players. His way more than mine, but is because we have literally run across them not just once, but multiple times. I've told you guys this before. People would put lead inside the dice so that they rolled differently. Yeah, we used to have to put them in water in order just to verify that these jerks weren't fudging their dice. Things
even like dice fudger. That's something like we don't see. Like people people cheating in RPG. Like it's like nobody would do that. Like it's like
every group of minutes, like can we have a rolling box, and we just grab like the top of a Monopoly game box or something and throw that on the table ready to roll in. Like it's weird. Like when I hear these stories about what you guys went through, it's weird. To address Heathen Dog's thing about us being calmer, you're adorable. Clearly, you've never been hockey shirted in your life. But anyway, the point is that I just think it's
Kick off,
like.
eh? You hoser.
You also know who the Geneva Convention has been made for, right?
No, that's true.
Only a war crime the first time.
Yeah, that's right. Never a war crime the first time. Yeah,
exactly. That should be the motto of the Canadian Armed Forces. But I think Nersner said it best with her thing about where it's gone now. I don't know where the hell it went, but she did a whole thing about how American something or other, Canada's not blah 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 blah. RPG players in Canada aren't socially stunted dorks with hyper-fragile egos that can only be made manifest through DM God mode. That's whack. But it's like, we didn't dungeon crawl. That's the other weird thing. Like, everybody in the States tells me about their great dungeon crawl experiences in the 80s, and we were doing epic narrative campaigns. And it's like, I think it's just a weird cultural difference, and I don't get it. But
I didn't start getting into narrative campaigns before I met until I was in the military. And then I kind of did that because I'd started reading a whole ton of D&D books at the point. Remember, before that, I wasn't really allowed to because of, Satanic Panic and all that other nonsense. But I really started, I devoured a whole ton of D&D books. I'm like, I want to recreate that stuff. So I started doing that with my D&D games at my first base. I ran 6 days a week at my first base. So, 2 different groups, but I was exposed to again a bunch of people. That's where things started calming down. But we still had a couple, especially at War Games West in Albuquerque. Man, there are still some weirdos. Let's just put it that way. There are still some weirdos there.
I don't know. You feel like you play like everywhere in the world, like with German stuff, like and Korean or Japanese or stuff like that. Like, and then I cannot tell. Like I would think like it was an American thing, right? But maybe not. Maybe it's the Canadian thing.
I was playing with mostly Americans. I mean, I played with a couple of Germans, but like in Japan, it was with all Americans. So, and in Kuwait, it was with all Americans as well.
I think it's because we're not raised with the power at that point, right?
That's fine.
I think that's the thing. Our cultural zeitgeist isn't conquer everything because we're number one. Because we're the kind of guys, when we hear you guys go, we're number one, we go, cool. What's the fucking contest? Like, what are we number one at? Like
actually, I would say number one in what?
Yeah, well, there you go. That's, infant mortality. What,
I mean this in all seriousness. In the after show, scribble this down or something. Bring that exact topic back up. I've got a military anecdote for you.
Okay, cool. But I think that's the other thing. We don't fetishize the military in Canada.
Yeah.
And that's changes things. So we're like, while we might think military stuff can be cool when we're teenagers and stuff like that, we're not fetishized about it. We don't turn it into this like upper echelon of civilization here.
Yep.
So I think yeah. So I mean, like when the war starts, we have the highest volunteer rates of any first world nation. Like our people volunteer hardcore when the war starts. But until that point in time, we're not sitting around trying to be cool gun guys. We have tons of guns. We do lots of hunting. We have gun crime. We have murder. We have all the stuff you guys have, just in smaller numbers. But I think it's a cultural zeitgeist difference. We never had a manifest destiny. We never had the go west and tame the frontier young man. North to Alaska, the gold rush is on. We didn't have that stuff. So I think it plays differently for us. And when you see, it's funny, we kick your ass at every war games. And no one likes fighting us. Ask anybody who has, they all go, I'd rather fight the Americans because we do war crimes. We're crazy. We're the nicest people in the world until we start fighting, and then we're fucking ugly. But I think that's the thing. We save our ugliness. Usually, not all. There's bad apples everywhere. Max and I can tell you, we were bouncers for years. But we save our ugliness for the right moments. So I think that's a difference in the culture, and it shows up in role playing as a result. We realize it's a social event, and once we got out of being high school kids who could do stupid high school kid shit because we're raging hormone monsters, once we got past that, we got into college, we're just role playing a game. All right, well, shit, my character died. As long as the GM didn't fucking kill me on purpose, all right, we're good.
So I've seen it with
adversational GM, very rare too. That never don't think I ever saw that.
Like once, maybe.
Yeah.
Now, by the way, since we are still technically in the show and we got to end it here soon, the reason this is still on topic is because we're talking about character death and we're talking about how to deal with it when characters die. And I will tell you that I've seen it most out of 2 groups of people, and one of them may or may not surprise you. The younger kids, teens, maybe early 20s.
Mhm.
And the older guys, the
Already.
60-year-olds, like they were just as bad. Those were the ones that actually, and I don't know if it's because they're like, oh crap, I will never have a character like this again because I'm gonna die next year or something. I don't know what the deal was with it, but there was absolutely the older grognards who now would probably be in their 80s and 90s if they're still alive were actually the ones that were the worst. How dare you kill my character? You don't know how to play this game. My character, wait, what?
Yeah. Well, I think also like you hear a lot about that in the younger generation as well. Like, and I think like I have my theory about that. Like, in people, you see like people like, oh, you have to ask consent before killing a character from the player and stuff like that. And I think that's fucking awful, obviously.
Right, it is.
It is.
You see it like I think a lot of that. I think a lot of that is linked to the also like the big backstory thing. Like it's like when in railroading GM, like when you have a GM that railroad you, is going to tell a story with your character. So your one chance, you created this character you think is cool. Your one chance to tell a story about this character is before the game, because then the GM is going to take your player agency and tell a story with your character. It's like you're lending him the character for him to tell a story. He just asks you to roll dice once in a while. And then if he kills your character, then like that's kind of rude, right? It's like the character I created, I lended it to you to tell a story, and then you're fucking killing it, right? Maybe I wasn't done with that guy.
I was very fair in one of my games. I didn't kill one person for the story. I killed everybody for the story.
That's fair. Voice of one. Maybe it's not that I'm lucky. Maybe it's just I didn't let any old asshole show up at my table. Maybe I was a little picky about who I chose to roll dice with, and like being a bouncer, I had this radar for troublemakers. You know what I mean? So I'd just be like, nah, I'm not playing with that guy. I played in Ontario. I played in Quebec, the Maritimes, British Columbia. I've never had these experiences. Never.
There could also be like the time frame aspect of it as well. Like we're hearing about it a lot again with 5e and it becoming mainstream. I haven't had a lot. I've seen these experiences more than I've had them. When I say seen, I was sitting at this table and it happened at that table over there, so to speak. Since high school, I have not had a lot of them personally, but I've seen them, and that's you're talking about vetting players. Well, back in the day, when Heathen Dog, even when we were in the Air Force, how many gamers did we have? Yeah, at one point, to be fair, we had that big group. Remember when I said, "Hey, if your character dies, you're out"? But that was a minor moment. That only lasted a couple of months.
That was a little bit when we had a queue of people waiting.
Usually, it was a struggle.
You go and get in back of the line, but most of the time we had six people.
And but we were core. When somebody left, it was like, oh crap.
Yeah, exactly. We had that. That's what we had. Because at the time there just weren't a lot of gamers that were interested in gaming at that point. In that place, in that time, there wasn't a lot of people.
So let's wrap this up.
Even in high school, I didn't have like those kind of problem, but also like I didn't go to a normal high school, so maybe like maybe there was part of that as well. But I wanted to say something about the character death, and because like in transition.
Well, do me a favor. This will be your last comment. So talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Get it off your chest. We still got time, and then also promote yourself.
All right. Like you're talking about like transition about character death, and like for me, like it's kind of strange conversation. Like people be getting attached to their character, because I get attached to my character. I always like my character. Somebody like from my group was just asking to the group in general, like because we played a lot of the game, we changed character a lot, right? And say, which one of you have been your favorite character? And I had to think about it and say, you know what? Like my favorite character is almost always the last character I played, because he's the freshest in my mind, and I'm fickle. But I know that the next character I'll play is probably like coolest, right? I'm gonna have like new ideas and stuff like that, right? So I'm always excited. Like I'm always like my favorite character is my last one, but I'm always excited for the next one, right? So I don't know. I don't get the people like having the hang up. Don't make a new cool character, right? You can have.
So what you're saying? Character death isn't your death. Carry on.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. It's not a crisis. Yeah, my channel is Reactionary Principle Gaming. That's it.
Okay, there you go. Okay, Bear. Any loose ends here, any alibis, whatever that you want to throw out there, and then obviously promote yourself in Heroic, please.
Nothing I want to add. I think it was a fascinating conversation. It was very interesting. I enjoyed it. First time on with Heathen Dog was enjoyable. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Just play the fucking game, guys. Everybody, it's just a fucking game. Stop making it more than it has to be. It's just a fucking game. Play the game the way you and your friends enjoy. Don't worry how other people play their games. Play them the way you like. Have a good time. Love each other. Don't pick fights. Keep your stick on the ice. Okay? Simple fucking rules to live by.
Keep your stick on the ice. So very Canadian.
Hey, as a Minnesotan, I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, Heathen Dog.
I'm with him.
Any final comments that you've got, that anything that you didn't get to say or whatever that on the topic?
No, I feel like I've
shill
talked
yourself.
I've shill myself. Well, you can see me most Sundays with him.
Not this Sunday.
Not this Sunday though, but most Sundays with him right here with our RPG Digest, where we talk about we go into deep dives into various games and overviews into various other games, and now periodicals, as a matter of fact. And also on most Thursdays and Saturdays, you can see me and my friends gaming on Twitch, Legion of Myth, Twitch. You can search that up. And right now we're playing Lethal Company and City of Heroes.
What are they going to play tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night's Lethal Company.
Oh, are you still here tomorrow night?
Yes, I leave.
Okay.
I leave Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
I have to be at the airport Sunday afternoon, so it means I got to leave here around noon or 1 or whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't show myself because Heathen Dog just did it. Well, I will tell you that this Sunday I'm going to be covering. I might try to finish up the entirety.
No, I want to be here for the Xenomorphs, man.
Well, we'll see how long it takes for me to get through the other section, because I'm to the point now where I really want to get to the next whatever I'm going to do. But we'll see. If it takes a while, I'll do that. And then next Friday, what are we talking? Oh, next Friday is the members only stream, so there isn't a Friday night stream, public one next week. The week after that, going to be talking with the Horde War guys, and I guess I'm going to be learning about that game. And then the week after that, well, you've all been waiting for it, Cody, Mage's Musings, and the Basic Expert will be on to talk about the OSR or OSG or whatever the hell we're allowed to call it nowadays. I don't care. Old school gaming. So every week it's different what we were supposed to go. Anyway, and I think that'll be fun, and more topics will be coming down the pipe. But I really appreciated this one. I thought this was a really energetic one. It went long as balls, but I think the conversation was good. I hope you guys appreciate it. As always, let me get it up here. Like, subscribe, share, promote this. Just so you folks know, YouTube hates me. And now everybody says that. Well, I can tell you this. My click-through rate is double what it was last year. My views are 1/4 what they were last year. What that means is that people are clicking on the videos. If they're seeing them, they're not seeing them. So please help by sharing that out there. So, but I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for your time. And I look forward to talking to everybody next week.